Here's KATC Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us for this late hour. The better news about going on late, we have the latest graph model coming in, and it is throwing some question marks in the air, so we're going to get to that in just a bit. First off, though, let's look at the big picture. Tomorrow's going to be another pretty nice day. It's going to be warmer, maybe an isolated shower, but no higher than 10%. But we do have some tropical moisture extending from the remnants of Gamma all the way up here through southeast Louisiana, where we did see some showers today. I think we see more showers as we go into Thursday for sure. Then the big rains and the hurricane coming in late Friday. Friday evening looks to be the call. Now, hurricane hunters got in here during the course of this evening and found a somewhat weaker hurricane, but no such thing as a weak Category 4 storm, and that's what this is. 130-mile-an-hour winds. We don't see an eye developing, and let's hope it stays that way for our friends down in the Yucatan as it's heading here late tonight through tomorrow morning. Still a Category 4, 130-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving smartly to the west-northwest at 16. Pressure up just a bit from the last observation we had earlier this evening, but nonetheless, not much change in the forecast track with this going over the northern portion of the Yucatan and then emerging in the Gulf of Mexico as we head into tomorrow evening, afternoon and evening, and then once again gaining strength. And at this point, it's going to be not only a Category 4, but it's going to be probably at least a third, maybe 50% larger than what we're showing you right now. So it's going to be a bigger storm. Then as it matures, it's going to weaken a little bit, upper level shear, but not much. This thing is going to be racing northward. It's going to have 125-mile-an-hour winds. If it's moving at 15 miles an hour, you're going to add that 15 to this side, so you're going to get gusts higher, maybe 140, and then maybe less gusts on the backside. And as I mentioned earlier, gotta pay attention to the cone. This is the average forecast error, about 72 hours out. 48 to 72 hours is between 65 and about 90 miles or so. So tomorrow might be a different story. It's all going to be dependent on how this gets hung up or doesn't get hung up on the Yucatan. We could see some land interactions. We could see more weakening perhaps, or maybe not. So tomorrow's going to be another day, but right now this thing is heading directly toward Acadiana and just about toward Lafayette. Vermilion Parish landfall, Vermilion Bay, big surge, and that surge is going to be along and east of the center of circulation, and we'll start to get some harder forecast numbers tomorrow. The numbers I'm going to give you are my projections only based on experience. So here's the GFS model, and this is the earlier run. And we think the GFS has been dialed into it. It matches very closely to the National Hurricane Center forecast. Hurricane winds moving in as we go deeper into Friday afternoon and evening, and then moving on through powerful Category 3 storm and then pushing off to the northeast. And most of the action should be over with by Saturday morning, if not mid-morning Saturday at the latest. Now, what's a little bit more interesting, let's take a look at the graph model. This is the new high-resolution model that did a great job with hurricanes Laura and Sally, so we got to pay attention to it, at least for the tropics right now. And again, the storm got over land a little bit longer, and notice this is a much more westward trek that kind of matches what the European model has been looking at, but this thing is really genned up and then going to be moving to the northeast. This is suggesting landfall maybe closer to Cameron Parish, which is in sync with the European model, but we're not going to buy that quite yet at this point. But this would be horrible for southwest Louisiana, but the bottom line, anywhere from Lake Charles to maybe even New Orleans has to prepare for a hurricane. Right now, it looks like it's going to be more Acadiana than the graph model is indicating, but we'll see how things go. As for your tropical storm wind probabilities, these are for the damaging tropical storm winds, enough to knock out power and do some damage. 58 to 73 mile per hour sustained winds. Our risk is at about 60%, and that hurricane risk that we talked about, we were at 10% yesterday. We were at 24% this evening. Now tonight we're up to nearly 40% across a good part of Acadiana based on the current forecast track, with a Category 3 bearing down on the coast as we head into late Friday. Again, it looks like the bewitching hour with this system is going to be Friday evening, Friday night, and maybe a 4 to 6 hour window where you're seeing these high winds and the heavy rainfall. And again, the rainfall is going to be about 4 to 8 inches. I'm not concerned about flooding as much as I am about about damage and, of course, the storm surge along the coast. And that is going to be the highlight. For now, we're going to say 4 to 8 feet minimally. Some areas could be 8 to 15 or higher. We'll see what the Hurricane Center forecast comes with near and east of where that center makes landfall. So if the center makes landfall in Vermilion Bay, that's going to bring an 8 to 15 foot surge over towards Sippermore Point and over toward coastal portions of St. Mary Parish. So that's the big thing. Rainfall, a moderate risk of some flooding, but not high. Everything else is a high risk. Right now, we'll stick with our 45 to 70 mile an hour winds. Sustained winds, gusts up to 100, maybe 120 possible. But again, this is going to change, and this is the timeline, Friday night, ending into early Saturday. And with those winds, expect widespread power outages for most of Acadiana unless we see a major change in the forecast track, which we're not anticipating at this point. Be prepared. Have everything prepared at home for it to be on your own for at least a week, maybe more in more rural areas where you may not have power for a while. Tomorrow, nice days. We indicated mid 80s to upper 80s your high, and then scattered tropical showers Thursday, maybe some gusty winds. We'll have to watch Thursday. Might see an isolated tornado there too, but the damaging winds, power outages coming in with the hurricane, and bottom line, prepare for major hurricane impacts coming our way late Friday, especially into Friday night. That's it for weather for now. We're going to have more right after this.